Let's talk bells in Animal Crossing New Horizons. A few things that just make sense. During this video, I'm going to go over 4 different ways that I have used to make money in Animal Crossing. There are plenty of things that cost money in Animal Crossing, so it's always good to know more than enough ways to make it. I tried to include at least 1 or 2 things that you can get your hands on even if you're just beginning the game, but a lot of these work more effectively the farther you progress. Number 1, the glowing spot. The glowing spot is a spot that you can find as you explore your island in Animal Crossing New Horizons. It appears every day, and it's simply a place on the ground with a small glow coming out of it. If you've gotten your hands on a shovel, simply dig into this spot and you will find a bag of bells. You can pocket the money, or if you would like, you can also bury the money, which will produce a nursery money tree. Money trees bear money instead of fruit. They are an effective way to earn bells because most of the time you will triple the amount that you bury in the hole when you collect the fruit. However, don't get greedy because putting too much money, generally speaking more than about 10,000 bells, into the hole will make it more likely that you will not triple your money and may even lose money. So, if you find the glowing spot every day and bury some bells in it, even if it's just the bells that were already buried in the hole, you can grow a whole forest of money trees, which will produce money that you can use to buy things. A few other things to keep in mind about this are, if you fill the spot in without burying anything in it, it will not appear again until the next day, and you will not get another chance to bury money in the glowing spot. Also, after you have shaken the money out of the money tree, it will become a normal hardwood tree. It will not produce money a second time. Number 2, deep sea creatures. Once you acquire a wetsuit, you will be able to go diving for deep sea creatures. You will catch different creatures this way than you would simply by fishing in the ocean. These creatures are generally speaking worth a lot of money. There is a few that are worth less than others, namely the sea star, the sea anemone, and the sea cucumber are the ones with the lowest value. Even seaweed is more valuable than these creatures. You can swap out creatures after your pockets fill up, so if you want to maximize the amount of money that you make, prioritize the more valuable creatures. You can, of course, figure out which creatures are more valuable than others simply by selling them. However, there are plenty of lists online that should help you out. This is one of the most effective ways to make money quickly. Number 3, appraised fossils. As you are trying to complete your fossil collection in the museum, you will bring countless fossils to Blathers to have them appraised. You may become frustrated with how many fossils you bring to him that seem to not be part of the collection because you already have them. And while this can be frustrating, it's also a blessing in disguise. These fossils are worth a lot once they are appraised, much more than they are when you first dig them up. Just take the fossils that you do not need for your collection and sell them at Nook's Cranny for a profit. Even when you have finished your fossil collection, you can still dig up fossils and get them appraised by Blathers. There are, of course, ways to stop fossils from spawning if you are bothered by that. However, they still are worth a lot, even if you don't need them for your museum. So if you don't mind digging them up every day, and maybe you appraise them every few days, just so you aren't going to Blathers so much, this is a good way to make some extra cash. The final way that I would like to talk about in terms of making bells is daily hot items. Once you have the store built on your island, once you build Nook's Cranny, you will notice a bulletin board on the outside. you can go up to this board and interact with it, and it will tell you about the daily hot item. You can also find this out by asking Timmy or Tommy when you're inside the store and say, "What's hot today?" This item is a DIY or cooking item, and it will be worth twice as much that day, assuming that you actually sell it inside the store and not through the drop-off box. And that's a good way to make some cash if you have extra materials or ingredients. Once you upgrade Nook's Cranny, you will be able to see that there are actually 2 hot items for the day. These normally include a small item, normally a wall-mounted item or a miscellaneous item, and a larger item, like a large housewares furniture item. Generally speaking, the larger item is worth more, but you might actually be able to make quite a bit off of the small item if you have a lot of the materials that are required to make it. And like I said, this can also be food. It took me a little bit before I actually was able to get food hot items, and I'm not sure why. It was about 3 months of playing regularly before I actually got a hot item that was food. But you can sell that for more than it's normally worth, and especially with food where there's so much output from these crops, and the only real limit to how many you can collect at one time is how much space you're willing to allocate to farming. Additionally, and this applies to all of these methods, but it's especially applicable here, if you have unlocked ordinances and you enact the Bell Boom ordinance, you will get more money for the things you sell. However, I would only recommend enacting this ordinance if you sell more than you buy. But just to give you an idea of how lucrative this can be, I had brown sugar cupcakes as the hot item for one day, and I made 300,000 bells simply because it was the hot item. I had a lot of the materials I needed to craft it in the cooking area, and it was also under the Bell Boom ordinance, so I made quite a lot. That about wraps it up for today. I hope you found this video helpful, and thank you for watching.